live on the hub as well. So if you are on the hub, let me know if you can hear me. If you're on Facebook, let me know if you can hear me. I guess as importantly, can you see me as well? Got a very interesting t-shirt on this evening. There's some this is a super comfortable t-shirt, so it's been washed out a bit. There's some like birds here. I can't quite understand because it's like, is this the tree? Are these the roots? Is my head the tree? Baffling, but it's all good. It is very, very, very good to welcome you here. I can see Karen is here, and I can see we've got a couple of viewers on the hub, so that's awesome. Let me see who's there. Let me check out the old hub. Name yourself, show yourself. And, let me know how you've been doing. What's yesterday's session stirred up for you? I've just seen that fans posted up quite a detailed explanation of some of the archetypes and of what we were looking at yesterday. So I hope that's helpful as well. And of course, just jump on, get in touch with Fan, because like I said, she really is an expert in this stuff. She's, invested a lot of time, energy and effort and money to get to the point where she's able to speak with real clarity and purpose about this. So cool. Cam's on the call. Morning, Cam in Australia. How are you doing, my brother? Let me just check out. Who's on the hub? Who's on the hub? Who's on the hub? This is the hub dance. And Seb's in the hub. Seb, let me know in a comment. Can you see me okay? Because I kind of look a bit fadier on my screen than normal. So let me know. Cool. Nathan's on the session as well. Nathan, how are you? It is a shame I can't play cricket this weekend. I've even been working out specially, but it's not to be, I'm afraid. Too much work to do in a beautiful way. Miranda's here. Hello, Miranda. So as ever, we take about 3 or 4 minutes just to let people arrive. Bex is here. Big up, Bex. And just let me know, guys. How's yesterday's session? How was it for you? What's been stirred? Michelle's here. Cool. So Cam, Lisa had a good chat about the archetypes. It's outstanding. And in all of this, we're never just doing this work. We are not on this journey just for ourselves. Ultimately, if we can use this journey, this creative ignition journey we are on, to help us become more, well, then obviously that is a great gift that we can give to anybody else. So yes, it was amazing, great insights, fantastic. Hello, Michelle. So yeah, let me just look down my notes. I've got this kind of big board of notes I'm going to be sharing with you. Cool. So yeah, what we're going to do this evening, Clint has officially joined in some way, shape or form, even though he said he couldn't. So it's amazing that he is here. So what I'm going to do is share a bit about why tonight's session is going to be so important, what you can expect from it. And then also, before we get into the practical side of the session, have a little recap. What have we been up to so far? So that if you are joining for the first time, you can go, okay, well, maybe I need to check that video out. And all the videos, they're stored on the hub. If you haven't got the link for the hub, it's in the group. If you're not in the group, then hit me up on Facebook, ask to join the group. All good. Nice. So Clint's going to listen as and when he's got 4G. He is driving some giant truck somewhere, I would imagine. So fair play to him. Rather he than I. So yeah, guys, let me know if you're here. It's amazing to have you all on. And we'll give a few more moments for any stragglers to arrive. Claire is on the session. It's amazing. So Bex last night really inspired her. Had a great idea for a creative project. Yes, this is what it's about. Creative ignition. It's time for our creativity to be ignited, for us to know, to connect with our true assets, the fullness of what we can offer this world, and then start to develop some clarity. So I'm hoping that over the sessions we've had so far, that you've got a deeper sense of, hey, this is what I could offer. This is where the energy is. And then perhaps, through some of the things like the soul letter, through an understanding of the archetypes, starting to gain some clarity on how that might be shared. Harry is not sure how he watches live on Facebook. Well, it should, in my timeline, it should just be live. So yeah, Harry, you don't need to be in the group. So maybe if I'm saying this, I've got no way of contacting him. So I hope he gets this message. Cool. Tiffany is here. Outstanding. Tiffany, it's great to have you on board. I know that the first few sessions you couldn't make, so it's amazing to have you here. Wicked. Sweet. And anything else? Like a really light switch going on. Fantastic. And it is hot as ever here. I'm going to grab some water. Where is my little towel thing that I'm used to? Okay, cool. Nice. Fantastic. They teach the archetypes in English, Cam. Mate, I wish I'd gone to your school and done your English classes. I think I'd have been sold a lot more. That sounds fantastic. Man, I was so jealous last night as well. My beautiful wife was stood there, you know, not a drop of sweat on her, you know, looking effortless, looking beautiful, looking graceful. And there I was like, dear God, I'm dying, it's so hot. So the archetypes exist in 3 areas: the mind, body, and the soul. Mate, well, Cam, I'd love to hear from that teacher. That sounds like they know some stuff. So I'd love to learn more, because like we said, we really scratched the surface, and tonight we're going to go a little bit deeper. But still, just with that kind of surface level, you know, there are so many layers. I was just chatting to Fan now, and she was saying, yeah, you can use it in this way, and you can use it in this way, and it goes a bit deeper there. And I'm just like, Jesus, it's so simple, right? And yet the simplest things are the most profound. You know, Stevie Wonder, I just called to say I love you. One of the most simple sentences in the entire English language. And yet when you put his musicianship behind it, it creates something, you know, truly, like, you know, timeless. So fantastic. I'm just going to check that Seb can see me, and then we are going to crack on with the session. So refreshing my hub comments. And I want to big up as well, you know, anyone who has invested recently. I know Katie has, so big up Katie. Thank you for that. It means a lot, because you know, the crazy synchronicities, the things that have been happening, you know, it's absolutely nuts. And it is because you guys have chosen to be invested in this. So if you haven't, you know, decided what you want to invest yet, that's perfectly okay. Keep testing these sessions out. Keep knowing that they're going to be of value to you. And, you know, whenever you are ready, I do it. The invitation is there to invest, because energetically it really creates something powerful. So let me just check Seb's comments. Cool. Melody's on as well. Looks all right to me. Seb's loving the t-shirt. Yeah, it's a beauty. And you know what it also does? It also shows off my Rafael Nadal arms. Now, anyone who likes tennis will know what I'm talking about, right? So Rafael Nadal has got this, like, you can like smash the ball so hard. And the arm that he uses for his racket is like 8 times bigger than his other arm. So, you know, I've got this kind of crazy thing going on where this is my right arm, my dominant arm. And I've been doing all these pull-ups just to kind of keep myself in trim. And this arm is like, it's getting there, but it's like, it kind of feels like the poor person at the party, you know what I mean? Anyway, enough of my own body shame. Let's do this, shall we? Are you ready? If you're ready, hit me up in the comments, say you're ready. This is Creative Ignition session number 6. Session number 6. So awesome, I can't even use only one hand anymore. We've got to use 2. My brother is on the session. Big up my brother. Ralph, cricket coach extraordinaire. You know, super inspiring dude. So if any of you are in Bristol and need some cricketing skills, my brother is the man to see. So let's do this. Cool. Why is tonight important? Why is tonight important? Well, from the first sessions, we looked at the soul letter, which was accessing a different way of gaining insight, inspiration, and knowledge. And yesterday we looked at the archetypes, again, giving us some clarity about our inner world, so we can understand why we do things we do and why we don't do things we do. This session is called Consult Your Court. And one of the ways the archetypes is understood is, if you are the sovereign, the king or the queen, you have your court. You have the lover who helps you kind of really feel into what needs to happen in a situation. You have your magician who gives you the strategies so that the realm can be looked after. And you have the warrior who goes out and gets stuff done so that the realm is cared for and everyone thrives. And the importance of, Jesus, I've totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying there? Why is this? Oh yeah, so yesterday we were getting to know our court, and the archetypes are regarded as being a court. So you have the king and these other archetypes who are serving the king, i.e. you, to live your joy and to experience the fullness of your vision. So today, where yesterday was knowing your court, today we're going to consult your court. So actually, I've invited you guys to bring you know, a question, an issue, something you'd like to kind of resolve or get new perspectives on. And we're going to use our archetypes to actually shed some fresh light on that question or on that issue. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing, and it super kind of excitingly, I hope you'll start to see how these sessions begin to really enhance each other. How what has gone before begins to really serve and add value to, and in fact prepare the soil, if you like, for the growth that is to come. So this is particularly where it starts to happen, I believe. So before we dive into the practical session, because this is going to be really a primarily practical session, I want to just kind of recap where we're at. So that if you are joining for the first time, I can see Annie's jumped on the session, for example. Maybe gives you a sense of clarity of where we've been so far, and some of the videos you might want to prioritize when you check them out. And don't be scared by the fact that they're kind of about an hour long, the videos, the recordings. Generally, the meat of the session will take place in the first half an hour, 35 minutes. And then we'll have the lock-in time, which is where I'll answer any questions. So definitely, if you just check out the first half hour of any session, you'll get a sense of being able to really go deeper into it. Okay. So where have we been so far on our journey? Well, our first session was about, the true stories and true you. And that was looking at, what is the actual truth about where the world might be headed? What are some of the revolutions that are happening in economics, in human consciousness, in entrepreneurship, in ecology, that give a very different picture of the world to the one that has come before? That kind of world of reductionist materialism and of scarcity, fear, and violence. So we looked at that, and I hope from that session you got a sense of where the energy was strong in some of the areas of your life, your talents, your routines, what makes you unique, the things you engage with, the things you loved in your youth, the things that get you outspoken, and the things you believe should be universal. And from that, maybe you start to get a sense of, oh, well, I hadn't thought that was really strong for me, but it's come up very clearly there. And that is the starting point. We're going to look at how those areas where the energy was strong might be turned into assets in the future for you. Okay. The second session was all about creativity, about, what does it really mean? And why we are all creative, not just the artists or the dancers, why we are all creative. And what are the 3 keys to actually accessing our creativity in a full and complete way? Openness, surrender, and sacrifice. And really do check that video out if you're wondering about your own creativity or whether you have got anything that's worth sharing. Okay. The third session, we looked at stories. What are the stories? What are the moments in your life that you could take and turn into stories that could serve, that could teach a lesson to the people you might work with, the people you might have an impact with? Also, what are the stories that you can use to provoke, where the status quo says this, but that actually the truth is this, and that you can therefore spark discussion, spark engagement in what you're doing. The fourth session, we looked at the soul letter, which is how can you kind of ask a question and receive information from the heart, from your, whether it's a higher power, from the informational field, the 0-point energy field, the Akashic field, really tapping into a deeper level of knowledge and wisdom and intuition. And then last night, of course, the archetypes. We had a session where we explored that inner map, the 4 archetypes of the king, the warrior, the lover, and the magician, and how they play out in our lives and support us to achieve what we want to achieve or hold us back from achieving what we want to achieve. Okay, so tonight, if you have got the workbook, fantastic. This is the page where it says consult your court. And if you haven't, grab a journal, grab a notebook, and you're simply going to divide your page into 4 quarters. So line down the center, line across, and in the center, just leave some room for a question or whatever question or issue you're bringing. Okay, and I'll give you a moment, if you haven't got a piece of paper and a pen, just to go and get that. I'm going to grab a drink, and in that moment, whilst others are grabbing their bits and pieces, do take this moment to clear out any distractions. Okay, we're going to dive into the practical session, and do take a moment to clear out any distractions for the next 15-20 minutes. Just really give yourself some time so you can go in and receive the gifts you want to receive. And just confirm, let me know that on the Facebook Live you're still hearing me, you're still getting me. I want to just make sure that if you are on this session and you want to get something out of it, then you're here and you're ready to go. Okay, I'll check the same with the hub. Cool. Have I missed any here? That's good. Okay. Outstanding. And before we dive in, just take a moment to really land. If you're standing, feel your feet on the ground. If you're sitting, feel your bum in the seat, on the sofa, wherever it might be. And really, cool, can see me, good, good, good. Really give yourself permission, like we spoke about with the creativity, accessing your creativity. Give yourself permission. Allow the possibility, whether it's a higher power, whether it's some kind of, quantum energy, but allow yourself to receive the gifts of insight and wisdom via your archetypes this evening, okay? And when you've got that question, that issue, whatever you want some clarity on, write it in the center of your page, okay? Write it in the center of your page. And as you write it down, really give yourself permission to receive the wisdom and knowledge that you would like. And here's how the process is going to work. We're going to visit each of the quarters in turn, each of the archetypes in turn, and you're going to consider the question or issue that you've brought from the perspective of that archetype, of the qualities that they bring. And if you maybe struggle with that, if you struggle with kind of writing from the part of you that is that archetype, maybe bring to mind a person who for you represents that archetype, whether in film or in your day-to-day life, okay? Just whatever it takes for you to be able to access the qualities of that archetype, okay? So let's begin. Let's begin with the king, with the queen if you're female, the sovereign, okay? And the sovereign, of course, is the person with the big vision, with the ability to balance both light and dark, and to see what is needed. So consider your question, write down what does your king, what does your queen, what does your sovereign tell you about how you might resolve or get clarity on the question or issue you've brought, okay? And remembering that the king's gateway emotion is joy. So how might your question or issue be served by considering joy, by adding joy into the mix? What would be revealed then? And if your king is someone who can see both light and dark, well, what might be a bit out of balance at the moment? And if you take a big step back from the question you brought, from the issue, take a bird's eye view, a big picture view. In the bigger picture, when you consider this from a bigger picture, what truth is being revealed? What truth is being revealed to you about this question or issue that you've brought? And really trust yourself to just don't censor what you're writing, just write it down, just write it down. And bearing in mind as well that the king, the queen, the sovereign energy is about blessing as well. So in what ways might you need to be blessed so that your question or issue can be positively resolved? What might you need to bless? And it's great to see that that Fan has joined the session as well. So I'm going to bring her in at the end so that if there's anything that needs clarity, anything that needs tying up, she's going to be there to give her expert insight and opinion. So, see yourself, sitting on a throne, dispensing wisdom, knowing what your realm, your life needs, and just note down what do you need in this moment when you have this kingly, this queenly perspective on your question. And now let's move to the lover, And of course, the lover is all about connection, about feeling, about being sensitive to what is needed, about being able to experience great grief and great happiness. So what might be disconnected in terms of your question or your issue? What might you need to really connect into in order to gain the clarity and insight that you need? Go ahead and write those answers down. And what might you be being insensitive to at the moment? Or what are you being too sensitive to at the moment that is hindering this question or issue being resolved? And of course, the lover is really about, connection with our body as well. So take a moment to ask yourself or consider your question or your issue and see if that brings up a feeling anywhere in your body. Where do you feel your question or issue in your body at the moment? And what might your body be trying to tell you about that question or issue at the moment? Really take a moment to breathe into that spot in your body where you're feeling this question or issue. And what is the wisdom being offered? Go ahead and write that down. And trust your answers as well. Don't worry about whether they make sense at the moment. And of course, if the lover's gateway emotion is grief, what painful feelings around this question, this issue, might you be, not fully connecting with? Might you need to grieve in some area? What emotions are connected to this question, this issue at the moment? That you may have been suppressed or ignored. Bring them into the light. Use your lover to really access that full range. So what grief might be there? What emotions are there? And we shift now to the warrior, And this is about getting stuff done. This is about having clear, clean boundaries, about accessing the kind of righteous anger in a healthy and clean way that allows you to break through obstacles, allows you to overcome fears, to act, to get it done. So what is your warrior telling you about this situation, about this question, about this issue? In what areas, as we explore the archetypes, might you being a bit of a pushover connected to this question? In what areas might you be trying to make someone else wrong or make yourself wrong, punishing yourself instead of actually acting in a really clean, determined way? And what might you need to say no to? What might you need to say no to? The warrior is about establishing clear boundaries and knowing that this is me, this is who I am. That is not me. So therefore I say no to that. What might you need to say no to that is not in alignment with the vision of your king, with what your lover is telling you that in this situation is really needed? And Michelle, I've seen your question. We'll come to that. I'll do a kind of questions roundup. Let's just follow through the process for now. So is there anything else your warrior is telling you about getting shit done? Hey? Write that down. What might you be shying away from that a real warrior would just step up and get done? And finally, we move to the magician. And the magician is all about knowledge, intelligence, creativity, and strategy. So what strategies can you bring to bear on this question, on this issue? What might you need to do to acknowledge your fear around this question or issue? Because the magician's gateway emotion is fear. So what might you be afraid of? Because actually acknowledging that fear will give you the strategies you might need to overcome it. Of course, your magician will work for you. And in what ways might you need to be creative? What parts of yourself might you, not be accessing at the moment? Your magician will, guide you to those. And how might they be able to put in place a plan of action or a process that might help you solve your question or your issue? And thinking about this again, if what might someone like a Gandalf in this situation, what advice would they give you? If this issue or this question that you've brought is central to your quest, to the journey you are going on, what sage advice might this wizard, this magician give to you? Cool. And just take a moment now. We've been through the 4 archetypes, just to go through. And if there's anything else that's come up as you've gone through those 4, to note them down. I want to give you the opportunity just to note down anything that you might have missed. I'm just going to check some of the comments so that I know what I need to speak to. And I'm actually just going to bring up what Fan wrote so that I know she mentioned some power messages. So, I'll go through it again, just to see if anything else comes up. So the sovereign, the king, the queen, who sees the gifts of others. So in your question, in your issue, how might you need to see the gifts of others and to see your own gifts as well? And in what sense might you be suffering from believing you're not good enough around this question or issue? What would you do around this question or issue that you've brought if you knew you were good enough? If you had people who said, I see you, I see your gifts, your talents, and you are good enough, how would that change how you approach this situation, this issue, this question? And we look to the lover. So the lover is the one who feels. Also, the lover is a place of innocence and of unconditional love. So if you brought in the innocence of a child who just kind of loves unconditionally, how might that change how you approach this question, this situation? And perhaps in this situation, you maybe feel like, if you feel like you're not lovable or you're not loving right, how might that impact this question that you brought, this issue? And if in fact you knew that you love more than you know, and that you had a whole host of people just beaming at you, just reflecting back to you how much you love and how brilliantly you love, how would that change how you approach? What might you bring to this question, this issue, to resolve it positively? And bringing in the warrior, how might you act if it was just black or white? It was just yes or no. It was I do this or I do that. How might you act then? What would you do? And maybe you're feeling like actually in this situation you're not really showing up. You don't exist in this situation because that is the wound the warrior carries. And so if in fact you stood in your full presence, knowing the whole truth of who you are, accessing that righteous anger for whatever reason, what would that allow you to do? What would that allow you to do? And thinking of it also, the warrior carries a sword. What is it that you might need to cut away so that you can resolve this issue or question positively? And finally, we come to the magician. So what might you actually need to know, or what do you already know about this situation that perhaps you're not acknowledging? And what strategy have you tried that hasn't worked, which if you just tinkered with it a bit, it might work? And the magician carries the wound that they believe they're bad or evil. In what ways might you be believing that you're bad and therefore not able to come up with the action plan or strategy that is going to actually serve you? And how would it be different if you did know that you are wondrous, you are brilliant? And how would it be if you did know, if you understood everything you needed about this situation? Well, what would you then do? What plan of action would you put in place? What strategy would you initiate? Very grateful to Fan for sharing those bits, because it's, I hope, helped you to go a little bit deeper with that. So very simply, that is the exercise. That is the exercise. And guys, I'll give you a few more moments to flesh out some of your writing, some of the things that come up. Really write from that place of overflowing inspiration from the heart. Let it pour out. Let it pour out. Don't censor it. So go ahead. I'm going to see if our special guest is ready to arrive. I'm going to check some of the comments. For those of you who are still writing, go ahead, still write. Those who have got some clarity, some insights, share how this process has landed for you. Share what's been coming up for you. Share any questions. Wow. Michelle, I've spent my life trying to be invisible. Cool. Well, it's time to go intergalactic with your shining. That is affirmative. Let me just check the... How you getting on, madam? Great. All right. We got our special guest. I can't shout too loud at the moment because the door's open. Don't want babies to awake. So yeah, come down when you're ready, madam. Fantastic. So good. This is going to be brilliant because Fan can even add any other bits. Nice. I like that, Cam. Don't focus on the fears. Acknowledge them. And I've got a bonus session on this, which I will share with you. And it is about, so often we try and push away our fears, pretend they don't exist there. But actually, if we can go, no, these fears exist. And I'm going to speak to that because it's something that I was blessed to learn as like a, how old was I? Maybe 8 or 9 year old. Because I started to recognize I was doing a fair bit of acting in school plays. And I started to recognize that the nerves I had were actually, they were kind of good. They worked for me. They take my performance to a new level. So I've always had, I took on this ability to almost turn my nerves, like my butterflies, into adrenaline for a better performance. And that, it really kind of gave me this snapshot of the power of acknowledging your fears, going, hey, I am shit scared of this. And this is why it's important and why I'm going to do it. And actually, when you can do that, when you can make friends with your fear and let it be there, it turns into, whether it's adrenaline or other positive hormones or chemicals in your body, they're going to help you excel, do even better. Has anyone else been paused? Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, it's back now. Good, good, good. So yeah, if we're back, let me know. Here is Fan, our special guest. Round of applause for Fan, please.
Now that I can hear it.
What? Round of applause?
Yeah,
no,
they're going to hear it. I can imagine it.
I can give you one. So, and what I asked if Fan would be willing to do is to share with you guys how you can use this exercise, not just with a piece of paper and a pen, but actually in your day-to-day lives. If you're finding yourself blocked with something, how can you actually consult your court in real life? So guys, throw up any other kind of questions and stuff that are going on. I know that I paused and it went a bit funny. On the hub, it's all going to be perfect. YouTube has got this stuff locked down, so we're all good. But yeah, throw up any questions for Fan. And if there are no questions, I'll get her to outline how you can live this in your day-to-day life as well. I'm going to check the hub, see how Seb and Melody are doing. Where are we?
What's the hub? So
that's the hub where it's on the Creative Uprising website. Guys, I can't see any comments or anything. I'm fearful that I've frozen on you. Put my fears to rest. Let me know I'm here.
I guess if there's a delay, then...
Cool, fantastic. So Edwin's liking the clarification. Seb's internet is slow. So Seb's about 10 minutes behind. All right, it's back, it's back, it's back. All right, Cam's here. Good, good, good. Okay, cool. So we are going out live. Fantastic. All right, good. Edwin, pleasure to have you on board, sir. I hope that exercise was useful as well. Annie's too busy writing. So yeah, of course, it may just be that you're all immersed in the exercise, which is fantastic. So sorry if I've just been rabbiting in a self-conscious way and becking things up for you. Dan, awesome to have you on the session, dude. Sorry it's a bit on off for you. I had a bit of a Facebook Live like that as well. I don't know whether Facebook's just all right, good. We're all back. We're all back. Fantastic. So, yeah, guys, how did that land for you? How was that process? Well, perhaps you're still in it. So I'm gonna give time for this to emerge. We are officially in the lock-in session now. So whenever you guys are ready, let us know how that's been for you. You've got today.
It is quite warm. It's not too
All right, nice. Bex has written a lot down. Fantastic. Good. Good. So, lots of clarity. Outstanding. This is good. This is good. This is good. And guys, do feel free. I really invite you guys to share up in the group. Some of your aha moments, some of your questions as well, because none of us is smarter than all of us. And so whilst, yes, I'm standing here in front of the video, sharing a few bits and pieces, getting experts in to help you guys. At the same time, I know that it may not be me who says the sentence that changes everything. It could be someone else in the group who's been able to say that sentence because of someone else in the group. So I really invite you guys to, to share up what's landed for you, what's still kind of emerging for you, so that we can support one another, understanding that with this circle we've created, with this energy we've initiated, we are doing the work for each other. Okay, cool. So what's going on? Lots of food for thought. Good. So Cam's thinking about how to get his archetypes in balance. So Fan, do you want to speak about, because that's been a thing that's come up a few times, people saying, how do I get my archetypes in balance? So do you want to maybe speak a bit about that question, the archetypes in balance thing, and then also how they can use this consult your core exercise in their day-to-day lives? Give it up, Fan, ladies and gentlemen, please.
Okay. So the consult your core thing, the exercise you've just done, isn't that what you've just told them, basically? They
did it on paper though, so it's just for their own, accessing a part of themselves that's the warrior.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of, two things here. As Cameron was asking about, am I not?
Perfect. Be on the carpet.
About how to get your, the four quarters of yourself. Those four realms in balance. Now, I think that it's important to understand, first of all, how they get out of balance. And it's at the moment inevitable, the way we live our lives and the way the world is currently, that we are born completely in balance and keep going in balance throughout our lifetime. What happens to 99.9% probably of the population is that we come across trauma from childhood throughout our lives that they can be small traumas, they can be big traumas. What happens is each time something happens to us and each time we feel inadequate, we end up putting a part of ourselves, that part that is inadequate, whether it's inadequate in a situation or inadequate according to our parents or according to our teachers, according to the world in general, we get the message that that part of ourselves has to go or is not convenient or is not good. Then we put it away in the bag, in the shadow bag. And that is what happens. That is exactly the beginning of when we become unbalanced, when we start over compensating in one area and therefore deflating. I think we've disconnected it. Okay. Deflating in another area, and that's how we become out of balance. And we've all been through this. Now, once you start, the biggest thing about coming back in harmony with yourself with all of this is, first of all, realizing that you know, you come unstuck, realizing what it is and about you that you feel is either not how it should be, you know, not strong the way you would like it, not loving the way you would like it, not, you know, if you go through all the archetypes of the four ways of being, you know, not enough of any of those, in tracking it. And then obviously there's deep work that you can do, like, you know, in retreats or going to see someone who can do this work, you know, go really deep with you. That's one way. But in terms of everyday life, what you can do, you can start tracking these things, and you can start just saying, okay, I don't know what's going on, but who in my life is really good at any one of these four things? So who in your life is really good at blessing you, you know, at seeing you for who you are, and is always championing you. You know, if you're a good friend of George, you'll find him doing that a lot. You know, always bigging you up, always saying, you know, how amazing you are, and, you know, how your visions and what you want to do is amazing, and they're fully behind you, they fully support you. You know, who in your life is like that? And go and see them when you need a bit of sovereign that you feel you can't fathom for yourself. You know, you can't somehow conjure for yourself because you're having a hard time with that particular area of your life. And even if you're not having a hard
All right, so we're back here.
who's on
Fantastic. Not very many people.
Not very many people. Okay. Just one viewer. It says, is that you then?
Aha. All right, I think we are fully back. We're back.
Are we back?
Hooray. All right, fans, Cam's got to go to school, but I think we are back. Good. We're here. Good. Right. So I think our switchboard just exploded.
Yeah, the swearing.
So
brilliant.
Cool. Thank you for your patience. And you know, here's the thing. This is life. It's not perfect, but what we can't guarantee it's going to be perfect. What we can guarantee is that we're going to try our utmost to give you great value, to serve you as much as we fully can. So
so I was covering.
I guess you were talking about how people could, if they were feeling like they had a lack of sovereign in their life at the minute, they couldn't bless themselves, or they couldn't see the bigger picture for themselves. find someone in their life who embodies that archetype,
Yeah.
who blesses them, who can see the bigger picture in things.
Exactly. And the key thing to knowing that that's what you need is, if you have any sniff, any hint of feeling just not appreciated, not seen, not appreciated, then you definitely need a bit of blessing by one of the best person who can do that in your life. For some people it's their mom, some people it's their best pal, some people it's their teacher, mentor, whoever. Just go, just identify those people, and they come in amazingly handy at times. So that's the sovereign element. Did you do the lover next in your exercise?
Well, I guess the same process would map out for any of the archetypes.
So for any of these archetypes, exactly. So find in lover, find the friend who's just very good at hugging, very good at this touching things, and feels very comfortable, and is just, doesn't have to think about it. You can feel it's natural. You feel the love. It's almost unconditional from that friend, that mum, that person, that dad, that person in your life who can do love really well, and that doesn't have to be, sexual intimacy or anything like that. It can be, and if you have that, then brilliant. Also use that when you feel, particularly if you feel disconnected. Now that might be disconnected from your body and disconnected from that heart place. That might be sometimes quite a hard step to take, and I speak for myself, because when I feel closed up, it's like one of the hardest things for me is to go and get a hug, because I feel closed up. But actually, it is the remedy. It is the solution. And it is brilliant if you have those people in your life who are great at just giving you a hug no matter what's going on. They're just great at receiving you where you are. The warrior, now, friends who get shit done, they're brilliant. And, make sure you know them. Because if you need to have something done and you hang around them, you'll vibe off them. You'll feel their energy and it will rub off you. And hang out with those people who can, get their stuff done, or know their boundary and are very good with it. Hang around with them and see how they do it. Definitely those two things. And usually, the way it's very easy to know when your warrior is not quite instinct or is not quite there, because you end up feeling procrastinating and a bit sluggish, or a bit, and the energy's not there, the aliveness is not there. And the other thing is, access your anger. What are you angry about?
Yeah.
And that is a real, and go and see people who actually are quite good at doing good anger. And and they're actually, sometimes it's quite hard to find, especially because anger has such a negative surrounding, a negative judgment in our world. But there are clean anger places, like martial arts, or if you need to do that to be able to access your warrior and your anger, then go and do that. And there'll be things that you can work on to access that raw and pure anger. It's that really. I remember my mentor once said, if you want to know what it is that you're here on this planet to do, get in touch with what you're really angry about, and that is really a good idea and a good clue about what your mission is going to be. Something that you're actually really, really passionately angry about is very close to being your mission in life, or one of them. And the last one was the magician. So yeah, magician, very easy. Magician is a very dominant energy in our world. It's constant because of information, knowledge. Even in school, from school and onwards in business, the intelligence is highly rated. So you'll find magician inflated very much in our world, and possibly a lot of the time in ourselves, because it's kind of always working, it's always active. And there are some very healthy magicians out there who are very effective and very, very wise with it. And they're the ones that you want to tap into. They're the ones that you have to decipher whether it's, real, authentic intelligence or manipulation. And you want to stay away from the manipulation or the power grabbing through intellect. What you want is someone who really will understand you and will understand what you're bringing to them, and will help you understand, through their ability to just clarify things. I know, for example, George has an incredible ability with metaphors. Sometimes it's like I couldn't come up with them, but I have seen so many times him using metaphors to great effect, because that's his magician, being incredibly good at finding a scenario for the person to relate to in a way that's actually very basic but very visual and or intellectual, and it really works. So that's a magician example. So anyone in your life near you who you can talk to when you feel a bit confused, when you find yourself saying, I don't know, I don't get it, then that is the time when your magician needs a bit of help. And that is the time to tap into your community and see who out there can really help you with that. Cool.
Guys, let me know. We've had some technical challenges, but let me know, does that land for you guys? Go and, it's a very much a cliche, spend time with people who inspire and uplift you. But actually, here, I hope you can see, now that we have this understanding of the archetypes, of this profoundly simple but very, very powerful, very deep method of knowing ourselves, how we can actually use that in terms of the people we choose to spend time with when we might need a particular energy or insight in a particular area. So let me know, does that make sense, guys? And I think, we're then heading towards the end of the session. I want to thank you for persevering. So post up any further questions. I've seen Bex talking about martial arts. Yeah, big one. You could even just as simple as just punch it. If you want to get in touch with your warrior, just punch your pillow for a bit. That's going to do it, I tell you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So any other kind of questions, anything coming up? Otherwise, we, of course, post up your stuff in the group. Check out fans post as well, and we'll be responding to any comments. Respond to each other's comments as well. We are co-creating this. So we'll just give some time. I never know how long the delay is for the comments to come through. We'll obviously, fantastic. Nice. Yes. Very true. So, yeah, I mean, and Michelle, I think that's, you're saying yourself, magician and lover is very strong for you. And yes, but here, from this evening, how can your warrior show up a bit more? Because, it's certainly in there. And it's, you're going to do incredible things. Think what you've already done with not having much warrior, at times. It's going to be incredible. As you go through this journey, I see that warrior getting it sorted out, doing some motherfucking stuff. You get me?
And actually, Michelle, having an effective magician lover dynamic in yourself is quite a feast. It's quite good, because naturally speaking, the magician and lover sit on opposite sides of the map, and they are actually quite antagonistic to each other. They can really rub each other off in the wrong way, and they can be really opposite ways. We sometimes get that. But it's the real, it's a real skill to be able to use those two things effectively in your life, and to actually be able to float between the magician and the lover, to be able to actually navigate through that is a really good, and it's very important skill to have, and it's something that mustn't be negated in any way, because there's less sovereign, or you will find some areas, and I'm sure you have found already some areas where that's incredibly useful. And it's just for you to be aware that whenever you have come unstuck, it may be because these other two archetypes have been deflated, because you perhaps automatically look at that dynamic within you to address everything in your life. And actually, at times, you need to give that a rest and try a different way. And it's the same for all of us.
Cool. So, guys, awesome session again. Thank you for bearing with us with the technical stuff. We're going to rewire our house so it doesn't happen again. Listen, any other further questions, do stick them up in the group. We're going to be up for a bit, answering questions, seeing, checking through comments and things. And there's certainly, I guess you could see how deep this goes when Fan starts talking about the ways these different archetypes are in loops together and interrelate together. Then we start to get to a whole nother level, and we'll see how we go. But it may be that there's a bonus session to come around how those kind of the archetypes interact with each other as well. But go well. Fantastic. Nice. Oh, so yeah, I like that, Annie, very much so, very much so. Cool, guys, super blessings, and we'll see you for tomorrow's session, which off the top of my head right now, I can't remember what it is, but I'm going to obviously post it up in the group. Ping up any questions you've got from today or for tomorrow's session. Go well, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.